So I'm very
I
excited.
love it.
Welcome back, alchemists. This is Abundance Thursdays with myself, Gualter Amarelo, and the great Vinney Smile Chopra. Vinney, where are you calling in from today, brother?
Brother, I'm over here. I was going to walk, but we've been recording Crush 2024, as you know, different segments in my office. So I'm right here in my office and home in Danville, California. But then I'll be walking after this. I'm a little bit more dressed, as you can tell. But I know we just did some recording, you and I and Bo, my brother, and it's going to be fantastic. Today's topic is very relevant. We get into 2024. And the topic is what? What's the
Principle
topic?
number 7. Who has your money? So, so we're talking about money. We're talking about who has it. Everybody knows
Who
that all money
has
wants in the
it?
hands of other people. So we got to figure out
So,
whose hands that money is in. Before we
so
do,
true. Mhm.
2024, not the same as 2023. Everything about 2024 is going to be very different. And what you've been doing with Bo is kind of this
Yeah,
project. If I could talk about that really quick, I just interviewed
please, please.
for your Crush 2024 project, and what you're doing is you're
Yes,
bringing in like entrepreneurs who know what they're doing, right? People who have some level of really unique success, and you bought the
yes.
domain crush2024.com.
.com.
So
Yep,
if
yep.
somebody wants to go and learn about crush2024.com, basically it's interviews every single day for 30
Yep.
days straight from top entrepreneurs doing what they do best and teaching just their specific niche, their specific topic. I spoke about return on equity, which
Hmm.
was very exciting to me because it's just not enough people talk about in the
Yes.
real estate space.
Uh-huh.
And what I think is going to be very exciting is January 1st, it drops, right? January
Yeah.
1st, you've got
Hmm.
you're doing panels and you've got a bunch of the
Yeah.
speakers coming in. That is at, what was it, 8:30 PST? So
8
8
a.m.
o'clock
8 a.m.
PST. So 11 o'clock
EST.
EST, January
Yes.
1st.
Totally.
All right.
Totally.
So, Crush 2024, if you haven't already gone and registered, those will be coming out on January 1st. And so let's dive into this wealth principle. This is one that, for those of you who don't have the capital you want yet, don't have the success you want yet, it's probably because you're not talking to the right people. If you're surrounded with negative people, you're surrounded by broke people. Today's principle, this topic on Abundance Thursdays, is going to change your life. So, going into it, Vinny, how did you realize that the people you were hanging out with when you first came to this country, like you had your uncle, right? You had your uncle, you had your aunt, you really had no
Yes.
relationships, you had no connections, and you started working this job where you were selling encyclopedias and Bibles.
Bible books.
How did you know that a house was good to go to sell a book, right? Like, how did you know that somebody would buy it? Like, did you pick different neighborhoods or you just like walked outside and said, I'm just gonna start knocking on any door that I see? There must have been some sort of approach where you started over time figuring it out. Who had your money? Like, who was gonna say
Well,
yes?
it's a little secret. Let me share with you this company I worked for, right? And very nice company. They will not tell you which city you'll be selling until the end of the training week. What? They trained you 13 hours a day. And, I still remember that. I'm just sharing this because on the stage, there will be doors. Literally, they put doors there and they will do demonstrations and they let you practice where Mrs. Jones opens the door and what to say and how to say. This was hands-on experience. But they would not tell you where you are selling in territory so that you have preconceived ideas of is that a good territory or a bad territory. And the last day at 11 o'clock, and you have to leave next morning, they tell you where you are going. And they'll send you away from your college, away from your university, because they don't want you to come back. You chicken out in few days and you say, you know what, it's too hard to do door-to-door selling, getting slammed doors and all that anyway. So that's how it happened. So we did not control which city we were to go. In my case, they sent me to Austell, Mableton, Georgia, my first summer. Second summer, Pulaski, Virginia. Third summer, Aiken, South Carolina. And I came to know that later on. So essentially, what you're saying is who's got the money? See, it's all in the mindset. If you say that people around me have a lot of money, you will find people with money. But if your mindset is, hey, nobody's got money around me, I cannot help them to buy my service or my, whatever product I'm selling. Or if I'm getting, like in my case, syndicator, investors to bring in money of 100, 250, 500,000. If I don't believe in it, people don't have it, they don't.
So we
But
we we know at the highest level, right? The highest level, the
yeah,
most important muscle that really wealthy people focus on is
yes,
mindset. And
totally.
so to give a person, because most people who are just starting don't understand this concept. They can't grasp like, okay, I'm just gonna think about everybody around me having money, and they're like, it doesn't work. So like
Yeah,
skipping like going even deeper down to
deeper.
something that a
Yeah,
person just getting into this doesn't understand anything about mindset would be able to grasp. You
yeah,
you went to any neighborhood, it didn't matter, and you didn't
yeah.
qualify your leads
No,
until you were talking to them. What were some like
exactly.
so basically what you're saying is you had to find out when you were there. You had, which means to me you had to ask questions. The only way you could find out if somebody had your money was you started talking to them. You had to knock the door, step one. Step two, you had to start with some sort of opener. Step three, you had to
Hmm.
start asking questions and
Yep.
seeing if this client was right for you. I know this is important because I know most salespeople never do that first step of knock the door or make the phone call or shoot the text. And they certainly, since they've never done that, they never get to the next step, which is start asking qualifying questions. So let's
I love
let's
it.
assume.
What you're saying is so right, because I was selling educational books for children. They have to have children in that household. Otherwise, if they have no children, then my products, the home religious library, which was another one, Bible books also, which anybody could use, right? But the biggest thing was educational books. So I would ask them whether they have children or not. Once I got to know one person, because you are walking to the next door, brother, you don't have a car. I never had a car first year. Second year, I had a car. But the key thing was to ask them how many families around them have kids, little kids like them or otherwise, and then knock on those doors. That's so important right now, because if you find a customer who is an avatar, we call it avatar, right? Who can use your services, you need to find more similar to those avatars and ask them who can really also help you to use your service. It's not important. What I'm realizing right now, as we go into 2024, uh, nobody cares who Vinny Chopra is. Okay. Nobody cares who Gualter is. It's what we can do for them.
Yep.
That is the big thing. That is the big thing. So we need to really look at it ourselves. Am I selling my service? Am I throwing out information out there which is helping my avatar, my customers, my investors in my case, and brokers and others, and the for getting the deals, all that stuff.
Right.
So the benefits need to come first. Then they will say, "Hey, who is this guy?" Huh?
The results you're talking about, you're going deep into marketing now. So who has your money is kind of a marketing sales strategy. It's a make money strategy. It's a raising capital strategy. You've identified who the right people are in multiple businesses over the years as you've scaled and grown up to the 1.6 billion dollars of assets. You
Thank you.
and as I was touring properties yesterday, we were touring these couple hundred unit buildings. I started
Yes.
saying the word residence. So you're working in my brain. You're helping me out with being much better at articulating. So
Ah,
this door knocking was not you pulling a list. It was not you saying, okay, this list might
no.
have all the right people. So a lot of times in the real estate space, you'll have wholesalers or you have realtors who are saying, I need a better list. I need a better list. What you're saying is just go out and door knock the first house, and they will tell you who has the likelihood of the next thing, right? The next house that's likely to be like them. Uh, so who
It
has your
is
money
so
comes from
important.
even
It's
who doesn't
so
have your money, right? That one
who
person who
doesn't
doesn't have your money could lead you to other people.
exactly, exactly. I'm so glad what you're talking about. As we crush, 2024, as we want to scale our business, as we want to help more clients, we got to not rationalize, is the word. A lot of times we say, just like you said, Walter, I don't have a good list. Okay, make a list with one person. List has two people on it, three people on it. But then once you talk to the first person, give them the best experience. Make them a happier person. Make them a more knowledgeable person. Show them care. Show them respect. Teach them some things. Even if they don't have money, they will lead you to other people. But don't leave them right then. A lot of people just close their books and say, okay, we'll meet again whenever. Ask them referrals.
Yes.
I mean,
Ask them
I
referrals.
shared that with one of my interviews that in our program agreement, we started in my old life. I said, you know what, guys, why don't we put referral number one blank, number two blank, number three blank? It was written in the contract. So as the customer signs, then, as a sales consultant, we ask them to fill out, oh, by the way, my company is really good and our services are great. Can you think of a church who might be somebody that you might like to refer me to in your immediate family? So don't say, give me three leads. Put them in a frame of mind so that they could think about that only, like church or temple in my case, or we can go to the immediate business associates, and then the third would be like their family. Can they think of somebody? So get three referrals.
Three referrals. I love this. Who might also benefit from this service? Who might benefit from this?
Yeah.
So if we're looking at a group of people, let's call them family offices or hedge funds. These are the
Yes.
people that you
Yeah.
typically tend to serve now.
Yeah.
And these are folks who have done the hard work of acquiring money, done the hard work of establishing how money works and where to put it and where to go. One of the things that you do when you identify, am I the right syndicator for this person? Like, do you have their money, right? Like now, as you as the clientele, right? As you as the person that they're going to go work with and doing all the work for them. Uh, for me, like say I'm running a family office. Now I'm asking who has my money, right?
Yeah.
I've got money, but who's going to grow it? Who's going to operate it for at the level that I
Yes.
want it to operate at? And so now, like for me, I'm looking at security, I'm looking
Yep.
at growth, I'm looking
Hmm.
at experience, and I'm looking
Yep.
at, is this something that I can understand or that this operator can teach me and educate me? And I'm just thinking, look, with my own money, right? So I have $600,000 that I have out in other people's
Yep.
projects. So when
Yep.
I'm looking at who has my money, I'm talking to Vinney Chopra and I'm saying Vinny's definitely got my money. I know he does because he's got these funds, he's done all this different experience, he's doing these different things. That actually would work in the referral space too, wouldn't it? Like I could say, hey Vinny, who do you know? Like I've invested now with you. Who else might have a deal, or what other deals do you have available that I could work with? And you've got a big option of different ways for a person to invest. Why did you come up like? Why does somebody refer somebody out? Like, why does that happen? Like, why does a person say, hey, you know what? Here's another solution for you.
Excellent, excellent. Let's talk about, when people are happy with your services, with anybody's services, when people are able to trust us, they will tell more people about you.
Yeah.
That's how my business has grown from one investor to 580 investors. The reason is just by them getting the satisfaction of getting the returns,
Yeah.
then people brag about. If they make good returns, they tell their family about it. They tell on a dinner table, they talk to their colleagues at a coffee break or like that. Hey, where are you investing money? He say, hey, I know Vinny Chopra, who has been doing these things for many years. He's got proven track record. That's how you grow businesses. You got to make sure you leave everybody as a happy, delighted customer, client, not customer, but client. And always look at anybody you meet as 20x. See, that's the other powerful thing. Don't think that they're going to put only $100,000. In my case, I look at 2 million, 20x, because with their referrals and with their own family, with their own trees and everything, if you are good enough, if Vinny is good enough, he'll reach out to them slowly, slowly, and then you'll be able to capture and let them really see what you're offering. It may not be the right time today. See, that's the other part. People really miss out. They want a sale today, which is sad, very sad, because
Yeah.
you put pressure on the other side, the prospect, right? You put pressure if you're really saying, I got to place to make close to make commission. Whenever I did that, I never made sales.
Same.
But
Yeah.
isn't that true? Yeah, yeah.
You know,
But
it's
when you,
actually you bringing something up to me. You know, I get asked Dorina. Dorina will ask me, right? I think women are great for this. Yeah, but who has your money today is a question that she'll change. She'll be like, I'm like, oh, well, this project I'm doing is gonna make me so much money. All my investors are gonna make so much money. It's huge. And she's like, yeah,
yeah,
that's that project's gonna take you 2 years. That's gonna take you 3 years. Like, who has your money
yeah,
today?
yeah,
And when I was an agent, that answer was usually the deal I already have under agreement. How do I close it faster? Right? How do I make sure the bank is closing? How do I make sure the attorneys are closing?
yeah,
Like all of the things to get a deal closed. It was like if I
yes.
just close what I've already got under agreement, that's usually today's money. But I want to shift this to a third way to look at this: who has your money principle. Um, right now, there are asset classes. There are different. So I want to shift and like go to this a whole other level of who has your money. So you, Vinny Chopra, are looking at these different asset classes. You got these different funds. You've got the
Mhm,
hospitality
mhm.
fund. You've got your residential assisted living fund. You've got
Yes.
multifamily investment, which you have years and years and years, decades of experience in. And then you have Bitcoin, and you
Mhm.
have businesses, right? You have cybersecurity, and you have accounting, and you have these different
Yeah.
businesses from students and partners, and you're putting your money and your time and your energy into these different asset classes. What are some of the things that you ask to identify before you allow your money, your investors' money to get into a deal? What are some of the questions that you do so that you know like this person or this asset class has my money? Like no has the money you're going to invest is going to grow. Like what are some of the questions you ask somebody?
Very good point. Very, very good point. See, the thing is, in
And,
my
and
field,
actually, let me
uh-huh,
rephrase that.
yeah.
What are the questions you ask an asset class? Like what are the questions you ask an asset class versus a person? Like what do you make that asset class answer for you?
See, the thing is, you have to have a little bit tunnel vision. I don't like when a lot of operators say, I'm good at this and this and this and this, but you got to narrow your focus, get good at it. Because we stayed in that 40 deals or so, multifamily. Even the assisted living was multifamily. Hotels, multifamily, it's units, right? But we never got into office space. We didn't get into shopping centers or lands purchases and waiting on those or, build to rents. We didn't get into those, but stay the course. And that's what I find people get better if they stay in the course. Then you get better at it, then you take a second asset class. That's what I would say. Then after you get good at that, then you go to third asset class. But in the investors, go for accredited investors. Why? Because it's much less hassle to the SEC field, Securities and Exchange Commission field, where we are always playing in that, to be honest, to be transparent, to be communicative, to be updating the investors and make sure that they are really knowing where you are going to purchase the next deal. Because if the money doesn't flow with you, then you are left behind. I mean, so who's got the money? First find the avatar: doctors, attorneys, entrepreneurs, IT people, engineers, married people with two children in certain demographics. You can do anything, right? You find those avatars which can relate to you. That's the other
I like
part.
it. I like it.
You,
I'm gonna ask this
yeah,
in another way. How
please.
why real estate over the stock market? Why real estate over the
Mm.
stock market?
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. That's a pet peeve. I play both. I play stock market, I play real estate. But the key thing is in stock market, I have to put 100% of the investment in to get my returns of 8%, let's say, average 8.2 or whatever. I mean, this year has been a good year. Last year was a bad year in stock market, but this year some people might make 12%, 15%, 20%. But the thing is, you put 100,000, you get 10% on that 100,000, 10,000. In the real estate field, let's just shift there. You put 100,000, but the 70/30 LTV, we call loan to value. If the product is good, the real estate is good, the bank says, hey, I'll come with you and I'll put 70% of the the loan. I'll give you the loan. If the property is worth $1 million, you just put 300,000 equity, we call it, and they'll give me 700,000 loan at a very good rate. Right now, maybe 8%, 9%, let's say. But if you're doing the value add and everything, and you're going to make a lot more money in the next 3 to 5 years, that 1 million property becomes 3 million now. You gained equity by $2 million. Does the bank come back after 3 years and say, give me 70% of that 2 million? No. Stock market? Yes, because you put whole money in there and you will get just that much. Equity growth is not there in the stock. It is there in the sense if the price goes up very, very high, right? Then
Right.
it is. But I love real estate as compared to stock market because there is leverage piece, leverage. In real estate, we get depreciation effect. You get depreciation in stock market? No, no, no. The P&L is going to show you what you made, and then you got to pay on your ordinary income long term. If you kept the stocks for over a year and then through it, long term gain, it's called. Short term is less than a year, I think. But if you lose in stock market $3,000, I don't know who designed that. I mean, if you lose 200,000 in a year, I lost 389,000. I just looked at it last year. Well, I knew it before. I looked at it again because this year I've made money. I want to make sure, we are going over past that, small blip. But the thing is, in real estate, there are so many things you could do. Once you buy a stock, you have given the money to the stock company.
Yep.
And then if it's going to grow their sales or how they pay dividends and all that, it's a big art, of course, learning those things or options. I don't play options. A lot of people play options and margins and all. But in real estate, you can control it. I love that fact that it's a physical thing. You could see the residents paying rents and all. You could change the rents, which in stock, you cannot really do anything to change the direction of the company. You just look at their board and make sure that their product is good and all that. Then depreciation, which you just talked about. And then the other part is the value add, which is huge, that you are able to control the outcome of the valuation of multifamily or strip sheds, anything, any business.
This is too cool. I have to jump because I have 30 seconds before the recession proof challenge starts.
Yes, yes, yes,
I know we normally do this call earlier, so we have more time, but
yes,
we just got
yeah.
into
No,
some of the
no,
coolest things. I'd like to do more of this. I know on January 13th, we're doing names on deeds. I'd like to, when
yes,
you come in, I'd like to talk about specifically, maybe just
love
expand
to,
on the
love to.
differences between the stock market and real estate and just go really deep into that. Vinny, before we jump off for our respective, I know you're doing more of interviews for
Yes,
Crush 2024. What is a piece of
yes.
advice you'd give for somebody who is looking to scale up their income and they're looking to find out who has their money and do some work this year? What do you think is the biggest thing stopping people from making more money? And like, what advice would you give a person who's looking to actually reach their goals, maybe go beyond them this year?
The biggest thing is goal setting. As we enter January 2024, I would highly recommend everybody to look at what happened this year, good, bad, ugly, but then find out what you're going to change to grow that business or to grow the clientele, The biggest thing, revenue comes from helping more people, solving bigger problems. So put it down on a plain sheet of paper. How can you support and how can you solve bigger problems?
This is Abundance Thursdays with myself, Gualter Amarelo, and the great Vinney Smile Chopra. We'll be back next Thursday at
Yes.
9 a.m. PST, 12
Yes.
p.m. EST. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Vinny.
you.
I'll see you in the next one.
Take
Merry
care,
Christmas,
Gualter,
brother.
brother. Merry Christmas to you.